let's call it to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we'll move on to roll call.
Councilmember Hall. Here. Councilmember Mazzoni.
Here.
Councilmember Palfini.
Here.
Councilmember Tavalero. Here. Mayor Parham.
Present. Okay, now we'll do the acceptance of agenda and urgency items.
I'll move to accept the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. At this point, we'll go on to non-agenda public comment. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on anything that's on the agenda?
Real quick, my name's Travis Owens. I run Stoner Talk Media Group. I'm a new registered business here in Weed. I'm actually in town to meet with all of you about a possible event we'd like to bring to this great city of Weed. And I just wanted to come introduce myself, let you know who I was, and that you should expect to see an email from me here in the next few days, so.
Oh, good.
Excuse me. Who were you with?
The name of my company is Stoner Talk Media Group, LLC. We are a cannabis.
Stoner Talk?
Yeah, STNRTOK. And just so you know, that email should come from hello@stonertalk.com. But yeah.
It's a good thing you said that. I might have dumped that one.
We sent a couple of emails already out to a couple other businesses to get them on board beforehand, and it seems like that our Gmail went to spam folder, so we're gonna go switch over to our business email before we send that out, and we have everybody's email already from the website, so. But
Okay.
yeah, my name's Travis, so nice to meet
Great.
everybody.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
nice to
you.
meet you.
Yeah. With Sandy?
All right, now we'll go on to council member announcements, meetings, reports, and comments. We'll start with Councilmember Mazzoni.
Believe it or not, the third time in a row, I don't have anything to report, but I sure will on the next meeting.
Is that a warning?
Yeah.
So all 6 of you watching on YouTube, please make sure you
Yes.
tune in for next month. This should be a barn burner.
It'll take about 3 minutes.
Bring the kids.
All right, Councilmember Hall.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have much other than, I just like, this is my last meeting, and it's been a real honor. But as I look at Main Street now and see all the work that's been done on Main Street, it seems very obvious that we, what little research I did, I found that we really don't have any funds to redo our Main Street. And I think it's really important that as you move on, to keep in mind that we do not have adequate road funding for our community. And we really need to step it up and have something, be looking ahead, like it's probably a sales tax, but we really need something for funding, because I've been saying it for many years, the possibility of gravel roads around the corner. If we keep, with the tax cuts that are supposed to be coming, things are gonna get very interesting. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Tavalero.
I don't have anything either. I don't go to the Transportation Committee until next week. But on December 16, 17, 18, that's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, is when the fire department will be taking Santa and Mrs. Claus around town. It hasn't been put out yet, but it should be soon. That's that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But the reason it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is because if one of those days is bad, it could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But it will be that week.
What's the dates?
December 16, 17, 18.
Santa already.
Goes fast.
Right? That's what Santa said.
Mayor Pro Tem Palfini.
I don't really have a lot to report other than one item coming up on everybody's agenda, at least if you're a nonprofit, is North State Giving Tuesday, put on by the Far North, I forget anymore. But it is a time where people give. If you go to North State Giving Tuesday on the website, you can give to your favorite nonprofit, whether that be from, I believe the ski team is on there from Mount Shasta. The near and dear to me, of course, are the resource centers, Siskiyou Community Resource Center. You can put your money towards any city that you would like, or any actually thing that you want to give to. It's a good time.
And,
You can start giving, I believe, on the 19th of November.
and Ken, I believe that the Weed Museum will also be on it
Oh,
that day.
great, that's good,
I just was down there the other day.
good. Is Sheldon doing that one?
Yes.
Good.
All right. I don't have a lot to report. I did want to remind the community about the old-fashioned Christmas tree lighting that's going to be taking place at Heritage Plaza. That'll be Saturday, November 30th, from 5 to 7. There will be limited food vendors, things like that available as well. So there's more to do than just watch the tree get lighted up. And also wanted to thank the city for the work that's been going on downtown. I know people have been frustrated sometimes with the road closures and things like that. But this is all necessary improvements to our infrastructure to make sure that we've got water, whether we have a disaster or not. This is going to be improvements that'll help the entire community. So please bear with us if there's any impact for you coming and going, because this is securing our future infrastructure. So, and I appreciate the work the city's doing to make sure that happens. All right.
What time was that on the?
That's going to be from 5 to 7 on the 30th. All right, we'll now move on to the consent agenda. I'm going to go through and read off each of the items on the consent agenda, and then at the end, if there's any discussion, we can go through that as a committee. So the first item is going to be zoning. By motion, council will consider second reading and adoption by title only of ordinance 477-2024 zoning text amendments. Item B is public works. By motion, council will consider adoption of resolution number 44, 2024, adopting Public Works Policy 201, City of Weed Policy for discontinuation of residential water service for non-payment. Item C is Public Works by motion. Council will consider resolution number 45, 2024, recognizing National Arbor Day. Item D, administration by motion. Council will consider resolution number 46-2024, authorizing the city manager to execute changes to agreements with Nationwide Retirement Solutions to add Roth contributions and conversions and other options to the city's 457B retirement plan. Item E, police, by motion. Council will consider resolution number 47, 2024, recognizing unanticipated income and amending the fiscal year 2024 through 25 budget to authorize expenditures under the comp spending plan. Item F, administration, by motion. Council will consider authorizing the city manager to execute the Community Development Block Grant Siskiyou County Protein and Produce Program Memorandum of Understanding. Item G, city clerk, by motion, approve minutes from October 10th, 2024, special and regular meetings. Item H, finance, by motion, approve payment warrants dated October 9th, 2024 through October 23rd, 2024, including any voided warrants totaling $1,013,944.70. And item I, finance by motion, approve and file month-end report for October 2024. That was quite the mouthful of items in the consent. Do we have any discussion or questions from the council?
Nope, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Uh-oh, who was that?
Can we ask for public comment before we?
Do we have any public comment? None? All right, we have a motion and a second. It looks like there's no public comments. All in favor to accept the consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, seeing as there are no items removed from consent, we'll move on to council business. Item A, Public Works. By motion, council will consider resolution number 48, 2024, authorizing the city manager to enter into task order 2024-07, authorizing Pace Engineering to proceed with street rehabilitation design efforts in the Mill Fire area.
Yes, so This task order will allow Pace Engineering to design, to come up with a design to replace every road that's in Lincoln Heights. This will be coming out of Fund 37. No, this was not budgeted, but it's something that needs to move forward with, so that way we can get these roads repaved this coming summer. If this does not move forward, it's gonna be a stretch to try to get the roads repaved.
And I know people in the community may have questions about that since some of those roads were recently repaved, but due to the fire, fire actually damages the asphalt. So we
Yes.
do have to redo those roads for safety purposes,
May I ask a question?
of course.
Are you taking them down to the dirt?
That's gonna be up to the engineers. I believe
Okay.
that is what their plan is for right now.
All of them?
Because, yes, because of the oil that was extracted out of the asphalt. But they still have to do tests on it.
Okay.
Any other questions from the council or comments from staff?
That's what the engineer.
Do you have any public comment on this item? No, we're pretty quiet public tonight.
I'll make a motion for resolution number 48, 2024, authorizing the city manager enter into task order 2024-07, authorizing Pace Engineering to proceed with street rehab in the Mill Fire area.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to item B, finance by motion. Council will consider resolution number 49, 2024, approving the budget adjustments for the fire department, museum flood remediation, engineering, solar array repair, and private donation.
So these are, we had some things that we had not budgeted for. First one, fire department has some broken equipment that, they need for services that need to be replaced. It's an Arizona vortex. Go ahead.
So it's for confined space rescue, and what it is it's the stand that we put up to lower and raise
It's a tripod.
tripod rescue people. We found when we were checking in, the top of it, the weld was cracked, and you can't just send it to a welder and have it welded because it's for life safety. So nobody would recertify it for life safety, so we had to get rid of it and get a new one. Yeah, that's what we had to do.
So next one, just zero impact to the general fund on the museum. The services provided by ServPro, we will be reimbursed through insurance proceeds for that. We haven't received the check yet. And then the solar array above our parking over there needed to have some repairs that we had not budgeted for, and that's the $5,200 for that. Chris just talked about the task order, $105,000 to go ahead with the planning for that project. We're recognizing revenue for the water buffalo that was received from 1884 Company, the fair market value.
I think we've touched upon all of these in the last several meetings, haven't we?
We have. Any questions from council?
I'm good.
Any public comment on the items here? I know a lot of repetition for my 6 YouTube viewers.
I'll move to, pass resolution number 49-2024, approving the budget adjustments.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to item C, administration by motion. Council will consider second reading and adoption by title only of ordinance number 478, 2024, repealing and relinquishing responsibility of enforcement of the Mobile Home Parks Act and Special Occupancy Parks Act.
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, you saw this at your October meeting. This is to move regulation of mobile home and RV parks back to the state. Normally, we put the second reading of ordinances on the consent calendar because you've already voted on them once. However, subsequent to that meeting, we did receive an email from a representative of Base Camp and I've got Shasta Mountain RV Park asking that we not take this action so that they would not have to go through the state to look at their projects. We are in contact, I've been in contact with the state to try to smooth that transition. We haven't reached the point yet where I can tell you that it will be a smooth transition. In fact, I'm sure there will be some bumps in the road. But we believe that it's still important for the city to relinquish that control back to the state, do a 90-day notice. We will send down all of the records that we have on our existing mobile home parks as well, or in RV parks, as well as the RV parks that are in process. One of them is at the planning stage, the other actually has some construction going on. So I don't know if there's a member from those entities here tonight to speak on it, but it would be appropriate to ask for a public comment, but we would recommend that you move forward.
All right, any questions from the council?
Who are the other RV parks that they're building one now?
Greg Walkup is the representative of two different RV parks.
Uh-huh,
One is Base Camp,
right?
and the other is, I believe it's Shasta, I can't read
It's
that.
one adjacent to it.
Yeah, Shasta Mountain RV Park.
And they're building something on that right now?
They've put in some sewer lines and some drainage lines out there, and I don't recall if there's anything else besides that.
No, there's nothing else. They still gotta do water and electrical.
Right. So it is in progress. There is some activity happening out there.
Were those two things done in the last 6 months?
I know that the storm drain, was done within the last 6 months, and I also believe the sewer was also.
Oh, okay.
And in the last 20 years? Just to,
6 months. 6 months.
I
ago.
understand that, but in the last 20 years, Mr. Walkup has owned that property, so not to put a thorn in anybody's side, but it's one in mine. So anyway, it's just my comment in general.
Any
Steve,
other,
what you're saying, basically, you're saying that staff agrees to move forward on this? Is
Correct.
that, but,
I'll make a motion to consider, did you get public comment?
yes, we're gonna go to that point next after we've had questions answered. Now, my understanding is that, we talked about this last month, the first reading. Moving this responsibility back to the state is saving staff from a considerable amount of resource in the future that would have to be allocated for doing this.
That's correct. There are requirements for these parks to be inspected. We have had staff changes since the most recent inspections, and we would have to actually train up in order to do that. The parks probably are not being inspected as often as they should be, and that's another reason why we would like them to go back to the state so that they can use their people who specialize in this to do those inspections.
I do have a question though. Has there been any inspection done out there at all?
So I did inspect the sewer line, going into the main to make sure that was done correctly. I was not aware of them putting in the storm drain system, so I was not able to inspect that. I did notify the property owner that we do need to be on site when they install the water system, because that water system is gonna be partially ours.
Okay, thank you.
I did some fuel mitigation inspection there and tested hydrants in them as well.
And that's what you guys
Recent.
went in and did?
Yeah,
That's been done, and is it okay?
yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm wondering.
it is
I
now.
wish he would have been here tonight to plead his reasoning, but, hey,
Well, I would have appreciated having the representatives of all of the impacted entities be here
totally agree.
for this kind of a change, especially on the second reading. But I will open up for public comment if there's no other questions from council members.
Stoner Talk Media. My question, I guess it's not really a question, it's like twofold statement. Relinquishing that requirement back over to the state, though, is to a state that's already a burden program. Would that be the smartest thing for the business entities? But at the same time, how it involves my event would be, those spaces do need to be regulated correctly. That way, when people come in and use those kinds of the RV parks, they're safe because they're bringing families, they're bringing they're potentially coming in for weeks at a time and visiting the city. How are they being regulated? And it doesn't sound like potentially that it hasn't been a fun time with potentially some of these groups and coming from larger areas to have multiple parks. Cities regulating is a good thing, but and states regulating, if they have the facilities and the staff to be able to do it, works. But always keeping it local is always better for the business entity and for the community itself. So that would be the only thing I would want to add.
I would respond that 90% or better of mobile home or motor manufactured home parks are all state regulated. We are kind of the exception.
Okay.
We took that on behalf of the current owner to speed along a project some time ago. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, 8 years ago, and
Wow,
they've
okay.
got a sewer.
So,
Wow, okay. Yeah,
I
it
don't think
sounds
there's
like-
any benefit to even the proposed project, to tell you the truth, to go one way or another. It's just the movement's very minimal.
It sounds like it.
That's
So,
my opinion anyway.
regulation's good. Like I said, locals, keeping it local is good, but if local isn't able to, state is usually capable, but sometimes the state's not the best because they're overburdened themselves. So kind of trying to find a median in there, and especially with the motorhome parks, typical, yes, homes are there, it's regulated usually by some sort of federal government or state level. The RV parks, I've seen it both ways, where it's a local business, or it's locally regulated, or it's for state regulated, so, but having that regulation is there is key, so finding a way to it seems like getting these people to do what they need to do, what they're proposing to do and following through has been an issue, so. Yeah. But thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment on that. Public input is very important. Thank you for that. You know, there's another side. It's really important to hear the other side. You know, it's valued. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, for those 6 YouTube viewers that watch us at home, we encourage you to come join us in person so you can share your feedback in the future. All right, any other questions from council or public comment?
No? You making the motion, Ken, or did you already?
I'll finish it up. I'll make a motion to consider the second reading and adoption by title only of ordinance 478-2024, repealing and relinquishing responsibility of enforcement of the Mobile Home Parks Act and the Special Occupancy Parks Act.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to item D, Public Works. By motion, council will consider introduction and first reading by title only of ordinance number 479, 2024, establishing administrative remedies, procedure for challenges to fees, charges, and assessments.
Yes, so the government went ahead, or the governor went ahead and signed the Assembly Bill 2257, which will allow citizens, if we change any rates as far as water sewer, for them to be able to write in to the city if they don't like it, or if they want to contest it, should I say. Right now, I know the last time that we did a rate study, we did the 45-day thing, that someone has 45 days to go ahead and contest it. Right now, if we did a rate study today without this ordinance, we could not hold up that 45 days. This 45-day deadline, they could go over without this ordinance in place.
So it's primarily not changing, just tightening it up?
It's just tightening it up
Yeah.
on how long people have.
Okay.
Any other questions from council? Pretty straightforward. Any public comment? All right, there appears to be no public comment.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion, council consider introduction of, that's the right one, yes. Introduction, first reading by title only of ordinance number 479-2024, establishing administrative remedies procedure for challenges to fees, charges, and assessments.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion, first and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to item E, Revenue and Finance. By motion, council will consider introduction and first reading by title only of ordinance number 480, 2024, amending chapter 3.32 of the Weed Municipal Code regarding Community Facilities District number 2009-1.
Mayor, members of the council, the city currently has a community facilities district that covers the Mountain Meadows subdivision in South Weed. This CFD, that's what the abbreviation is for that, was formed in 2009 to help fund city services, including road maintenance, police services, and fire protection through taxes paid for by the property owners once the lots are developed. Only 4 lots have been developed so far, so it's not a major revenue source at this point. The city became aware that some people had taken title to the property and were not informed on their title reports that there was a community facilities district and therefore a tax on the property, which causes some hardship and some legal problems for them. So because of that, we decided to look at creating a mechanism to allow them to make a one-time payment in lieu of the ongoing tax. This would be based on 40 years worth of the payments increased by the consumer price index, and we actually go back 10 years, and there's a way to do it that the finance people work on. And this one-time payment could happen now. We're giving eligible property owners up to 3 years from when the tax first went out, which was roughly a year ago. And so that we have this ability to move through that process with the one-time payment, but also so that it doesn't apply in the future. It also doesn't apply to people that don't have developed lots because they're not paying the tax anyway. So with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions about the ordinance. It's moderately complicated, simply because the Community Facilities Act, you may hear it called Mello-Roos, for 2 guys back a long time ago in the legislature, but it is fairly straightforward.
So if they don't have a developed lot, they're not paying anything?
Correct.
If they develop it, they're paying what?
Right now, it's $700 a year.
Okay,
I hope I didn't say a month before.
no.
$700 a year, and then that can be increased by the consumer price index each year. So it'd be $700 plus, I don't know, 3% or something like that.
And the ones that are already currently built are spending, we're actually not gonna be charging them, or is that the case?
No, if this only applies if someone bought the lot and they didn't get a title report,
Okay,
or the title report disclosed the CFD, they're not eligible. But if they acquired the lot and they got a title report that did not disclose
then they're off the hook.
the CFD, then they have the opportunity to do this one-time payment, which is a fairly substantial payment.
Sounds like,
But it does give them that outlet in order to, kind of move forward from that problem.
do these people have recourse to the title?
Yes.
Okay, just asking.
And
So-
that works for you? Okay.
So either way, basically, the taxes are being paid in full. It's just they're having the option for a one-time lump sum versus dragging it out over 40 years if it wasn't properly disclosed, and that's, I think, more than fair. So,
Okay.
Yeah, can you imagine when all of a sudden you get a bill saying, hey, you owe this, and you're this much less?
for this long, right?
So, I mean, you had to work with those folks, man.
I don't have to imagine.
So, I think it's more than fair.
Anything from the public?
Yeah.
All right, do we have any public comment? All right, any other questions from council? Seems pretty straightforward.
I'll make a motion for the council to consider introduction and first reading by title only of ordinance 4802024, amending chapter 3.32 of the Weed Municipal Code regarding Community Facilities District Number 2009-1.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And our last item for the business is item F, Fire Department by motion. Council will consider resolution number 50-2024, authorizing the mayor or city manager to execute the City of Weed Fuel Mitigation Grant Agreement with the State of California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, agreement number 5TR23113.
All right, so we did get approved for a fuel mitigation grant to treat 580 acres around the city. It's $1,581,440 total cost. We are seeking CEQA exemption first because we're not changing the topography. That does cost $2,000 for that. And this is all in the thing. And then we have to do an archaeology study or survey, which is $40,000. That has to be done first before we can even start the project, which I assume isn't gonna happen until after winter. Because there's one person that does it, and he has to go and look at all this area and give us a report. This is a 5-year project, by the way.
Does that 40,000 come out of the 1.5?
Yep,
Okay.
all this does. Machine thinning of $870,000, hand thinning, piling, and burning of $300,000. This is all done by contractors, not us. We hire contractors to do all this work. And we have a herbicidal application of $200,000 to stop the regrowth. And we do have an indirect cost of $169,200, which we choose what we get to spend that on. Could be used for, paying some salaries. We did have to buy Parcel Quest. We had to buy our own license for that. It's like $2,000. We can use it for that. And, you can use it for anything that we see fit here that would keep this project tamed in the future. So, and on the map, I can tell you that the hillside is not on that map on Davis. And here's why. Because there was another person applying for a grant which included that hillside, Shoemaker, and he did not get approved. We just talked to CAL FIRE today about that. And CAL FIRE Weed BC is going to take the project on and mitigate the hillside at no cost to us.
Cool.
So,
Very good.
Excellent.
yeah.
Any questions from council?
No, I want to make a
I have
motion.
a question, unless you want to follow up regarding the area of the mitigation.
That was my question going through the grant this weekend was the mitigation area includes Lake Shastina and Hammond Ranch.
It's to protect them, not include them.
Okay, so this is gonna be all within the City of Weed proper,
Correct.
okay.
And we're actually
So they're just
probably
citing them as
starting right
affected
behind your
by.
house. Is,
Behind mine?
yep,
That'd be a nice thought. to know
where it's
that
gonna
it's
start.
right.
Because they haven't burned there in a long time.
Well, they masticated, and all
Yeah.
that mastication is just sitting on the ground. It's,
Correct.
I know I chased a cat up there.
Yeah.
To find a wounded cat.
But yeah, it's to protect that area, it's not in that area.
Now, my other question is, will any of this grant be applied to abandoned or empty city lots that are not owned or managed by the city that have overgrowth? For example, we know we have several lots where the owners are delinquent in maintaining those, and we've been diligent in sending them, notices and fines. But can we apply some of this effort to clean those up for the safety of the city?
We can, we have to do the green mapped area first. And then, once that's complete, if we haven't spent all the money, then we can move on to other areas
Okay.
that are in the city, within the city limits.
Is some of it private property? And do you have to get permission from all the owners?
We do, yep.
Do you think you'll have any issues with any of them? I wouldn't see why, but,
I don't think so.
okay, well, I'm
It's the
excited.
it's the same permission slip that Chris has to get when they go on the property.
Okay.
To do work on the
That's what I
property.
thought.
It's the same
I
thing.
just wanted to make sure, but
Yeah.
that's great. I'm for that.
Last question for me, is it, General, lump sum, or are we having allotments?
No, we pay ahead of time and then they pay us back.
Okay.
So,
How long will this take?
it's a 5-year project.
Okay,
Hopefully, we're gonna try to get it done in 3 years.
I'm making the motion.
okay.
I have a comment on that. It really, it seems, and I know how things are now, where the last thing you could possibly think about is, wow, $1.5 million, and with these other things, run it down to maybe $1 million project that we could employ some people. But we're going to contract it out. That's how business is done in that type of work. Historically, could be done by young people in our community.
Not this type.
Not this type of work.
Nope.
No, you need specialists for this. Of course we do.
Yep.
What,
You're talking about people that are running masticators and they're thinning stuff out and burning it and, you know, putting herbicide down. We can't hire people to do that. I mean, we have to hire people to do that.
I know.
how to do it.
I just made a
Yeah.
ridiculous comment to what's going on today.
Yeah.
Still the soul and consciousness of
no,
it.
you know, Bob, but there's no reason
There's truth to it.
that, I mean, cause I know somebody that owns a company that does that, and then they'd be more than happy to have,
Well, all these
These
people
people
are
to go
gonna
to work.
are local companies that we've got prices from.
So they'll be
Okay.
hiring
Yeah.
local.
Okay, well,
One
Yeah.
company or
That's,
No,
that's,
several different ones.
that's a Band-Aid. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, I think that's very good news that we were awarded that grant and appreciate the work on making that happen. Now, my last question is I think for finance, is since we're doing a reimbursal, was there any language that stood out to you where we'd have a concern on how much we could spend per year? So for example, if we have a 5-year project, and would, you know, 1 year be heavy versus 1 year being light, depending on rain and snow load and growth? Or is it,
I didn't notice anything regarding that, but there actually, we can apply for advances on this grant, up to 25%. So if we choose to do that, we could, instead of doing it on a reimbursement basis, we could get advances.
okay,
that feasible?
It would just depend, I guess we'd have to look at our cash flow at the time when this happens. If we do the advances, we have to set it up in a separate interest-bearing account. There's some extra work that has to go into that. Any interest earned has to be put back into the grant. So there's more tracking. But it's something to think about.
okay.
well, this is an entity that usually pays their bills
Yeah.
versus some of the other ones that
Yeah.
we've gotten things
I
from.
would prefer less tracking, if
Yeah.
I have any say in it. If we can just, get the request sent out timely and get reimbursed, that would be my preference. So,
Charge of
Yep.
finances, if that's what you say.
Yep.
Excellent.
Generally, you'll know after the first run-through.
Yeah.
If it'll stop homes burning and properties burning, and it's gonna help out, I'll jump on that bad wagon.
That's for sure.
Any other questions from council?
I'm good.
Do we have any public comment on the grant? Quiet public as usual.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
I make a motion
Oh.
You at least seconded it.
that we,
Actually, wait now, because this will be your guys' last
And I
official
want this
action.
one.
Let's say it together. Ready?
we're gonna read this together. That we consider resolution number 502024, authorizing the mayor or city manager to execute City of Weed Fuel Mitigation Grant Agreement with the State of California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection Agreement, number 5TR23113.
And I'll second that.
There you go.
All right. All in favor?
This is my
Aye.
Aye.
project.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we'll move on to staff reports. And we'll start with Chief Duncan. Well, you got $1.5 million of the grant earlier, so that's a good report. Finance Director Porterfield.
We've started the implementation of the finance module, with our new software, which is, it's a lot of work right now, but the goal date to be live, is the second week of December, so, we are doing a lot to try to get that lined out and on time, but, it's kind of exciting that it's actually happening, so.
Does it seem to be working so far? You don't know that yet?
I think it's gonna be great, yeah. I've seen the reports we can print, and they're just very user-friendly compared to what we're dealing with now. I guess the hang-up right now is me, because there's not really a good way to export the data from our current software. It's a little slow, and we're putting 3 years' worth of history into the new software, so getting that history out of our current software and into the new one is kind of what I've been working on. And so it'll keep me busy for the next month, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and I guess other big news is we're finally getting some reimbursements back from State Water Resources Control Board. We had some big money out there from the projects that Public Works been doing, so we saw $2.5 million come in this month already in reimbursement money that we had already spent, so that was nice to finally see that start coming through, so.
Excellent, thank you. Public Works Director Davis.
Yes, so we actually had the SCADA system project kick off last Monday, which that controls, it helps the tank and the water source talk to each other. So that's good news, finally getting that going. In front of you, you guys all have a copy of the letter that we do have to send out to some of the residents. So if we do not know what the service line going into the meter, what type of pipe it is, we do have to put down unknown and let everyone know that it could possibly contain lead. We have not found any lead pipe in the city throughout all these years, so I sincerely doubt it, but it's something that's required for us to do by the state. We also do, of course, have the water bypass continuing on, which Timberworks has been doing one heck of a job, and I do appreciate the citizens being very patient with that, with, of course, the interruption of their daily lives.
I think they'll be pleased when they have water
Yes.
consistently, so,
Yes.
Could I ask a question?
of course.
That, on Main Street, did each building, not each business, each building get a new lateral? Is that what the thing's going across?
Yes, all the way up to Division Street.
Cool. Were they any of them made of redwood?
No.
Do we, if I can ask a
Yeah.
question, do we have the ability to give, if they want their pipes tested, do we have resources to give them addresses to have it tested if they wanted?
So actually, we have to go out to all the unknown services and verify what type of pipe it is, and then we have to report it to the state. If the public already knows, if they receive one of these letters and they already know what type of service line is going in, they could easily call City Hall and let us know.
Okay. That's good to know for the public, I think.
All right, thank you. Police Chief Mayberry.
Not much to report, 1,677 total incidents with 765 calls for service, 51 cases, 17 arrests. Traffic accidents were somewhat down, but we did have a couple of, more significant accidents. We were able to get one of our officers off finally. It's something we've been trying to do for more than several years, to actual traffic investigator, accident investigator school. So we do have somebody there that can handle more of our significant cases when they arise, kind of reconstruct and have more of a formed opinion on what the cause might have been, so.
That's good.
Excellent. Training is a good thing. All right, and our city clerk.
Just wanted to let you guys know I may be out for a few days next week possibly, so I apologize of the disruption. I won't say why. If you want to know, you can get me after. That's fine.
All right, and our city manager, Mr. Baker.
Actually, I don't have any reports, but I did want to introduce Mackenzie Anderson from our city attorney's office. And if she has a report, she'll give it right after I don't give one. So,
All right, well, welcome Mackenzie. City attorney, do you have a report for us tonight?
Pleasure to be here, and no, I have nothing to report this evening. Thank you for your time.
Are you new? You're staying?
I'm an assistant city attorney. David just had a conflict this evening, so I'm filling for
Oh,
him.
he didn't leave us completely?
No.
Okay, good.
All right, well, that concludes staff reports. Next is our adjournment to closed session.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we adjourn
To
to closed session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're now adjourned to closed session.
You never can hear.